Brought to you by Get Well Yoga. Get back to doing what you love. Our focus will be on opening the lungs and working with our respiratory system. This will be the focus for the first poses this morning. What I invite you to do is place your hand on your heart and your other hand on your belly as we focus on our breath. Notice the inhalations and the exhalation. Notice your belly expanding as you inhale and contracting as you exhale. Try not to change anything, just simply notice. Feel the earth at the bottom of your feet as you root your feet to the earth. I invite you to close your eyes for a second or two as you sense your breath. Slow inhale and a slow exhale. I invite you now to bring your hands on top of your elbows. So perhaps you can have your left arm over your right elbow and your right hand onto your left elbow. As we inhale, let's bring our arms above us as we work on opening up the space in between our ribs. And exhale, let's slowly come back down to our heart. And then let's take the other hand and just bring it onto the elbow. So we'll just be switching the hands as we come up. Inhale. So we're trying to open up the intercostal muscles to help open up our lungs. And exhale as we come down. Working on the immune system, which in Qigong is called the protective energy of your body. Let's change the hand position. Inhale, let's feel that opening in your front body. And exhale. Let's lengthen the exhale. Lengthening the exhale helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and relax system of your body. Rest and digest. Switch the hands. Inhale, let's come back up. And exhale. Lengthen, slow down and deepen. One last round. And exhale. See if you can keep that exhalation long. Okay. We just worked on opening up the intercostal muscles and trying to expand the diaphragm, opening up ribs and the chest. And now let's see if we can open up the sides of our body with some meridian tapping. So lift your arm up and take your right hand and just tap right the side of your body, and then come back up and tap the side of your body. So we're tapping the sides by our lungs. Bring your breath into the tapping, breathing from the diaphragm, which means expanding the belly, breathing from the nose, one more. Now let's take the hands and just pound onto the lung meridians, which is one on each side. And then the center, which is where your thymus gland is. And then let's tap onto the side. Bring our arms back up and let's tap. Again, there are meridian channels on this side of your body. One more. Now let's just bring both arms to our side and then notice how you feel. Do you feel more open? Can you breathe a little easier perhaps? You notice any tingling sensations in your hands? Feeling the energy that you've just garnered? Is your breath long or short? How do your shoulders feel? Now we're going to move into a spinal cord breath. And as we move into a spinal cord breath, John's just going to admit someone into the practice. Hi, Fee. So let's bring our hands to our heart. And then open our chest for spinal cord breathing. So let's lift the arms up, look up to the sky, and then exhale. Let's bring our hands back to our heart. Your chest rounds. Inhale. Opening the heart. Exhale. Inhale. And again, exhale. If you can lengthen the exhale to activate the rest and digest system in your body. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. See if you can pause right after the exhale for 1 or 2 seconds. And inhale. And exhale. Pause again after the exhale. 1, 2, or 3 seconds. This helps expand the lungs. Inhale. Exhale. We're trying to work on strengthening your lung capacity. Again, pause for 1, 2, or 3 seconds. Let's do one more round of spinal cord breathing. And come forward, exhale. Excellent. Hands back to your side. And let's come to a movement of clearing. So let's bring our arms out to the side. And let's just clear. Sweep your arms out to the side. Once more. And clear. And one more. And hands to our lower dantian. Again, left hand over right for women and right hand over left for men. Now let's bring our arms to our side and let's twist from the waist and the hips. One arm is in front and the other arm is behind us. See if you can let go of any tension, any holding in your neck. Your shoulders. And as we twist, we're bending our knees. Looking over to the right and to the left. It's a good release. A release from a long weekend as we enter into, a release from a long week as we enter into a weekend. Let's slow it down. Slow it down. Let's bring our feet together. as we work on a different version of the dragon. This time it is with our feet together. Let's bring our hands to our heart. See if we can just keep, this is the emotional center. This is where we can find balance. Right into our heart center. Let's breathe into our heart center. And as we breathe into our heart center, can we line up joy, perhaps peace, or happiness? Well, let's take both hands over to your left. So your elbows are alongside your heart center, or at least the same height. And then let's go over to our right. Now from here, let's bring our hips into this. So as we bring our hands to the left, our hips transition over to the right. And your head transitions over to the same side as your hips. So as both hands go to the left, see if you can straighten the elbows. Your head goes to the opposite direction of your hands. So shift your hips, center, and see if you can get that elbow straight if you can, or just slightly bent. Now let's bring the arms a little lower, and your hands, your fingers will face the wall in front of you. So we're in line with our solar plexus. Nice movement. We're getting good movement with our hips. Our spines rotating. We're also building some leg strength with our knees slightly bent. Now let's bring our hands so it faces a little lower, so it faces the earth. So your fingers face the earth. And so we're moving trying to see if we can move the lumbar, the lower organs, lower back, tailbone. Just creating some healthy joints and clearing any type of stagnation that we may have in our bodies. So let's come back up to center. And then come back up level with our heart. And let's come back to center, our hands to our heart. Bend your knees slightly, keeping your arms in the same position. And let's circle the arms so your hands will actually be in front of the wall, but you're circling. And come back to center. Your hips are moving to the left. Behind you, you're drawing the hips back and to the right. Trying to gather energy and bringing it in. Let's do one more on this side. And then let's do the other direction. Circle over to the left or to your right. Let's do one more on this side. Let's come back to center. And from here, let's bring our legs slightly apart so your feet are just past your shoulders. And let's bring the left leg into a 90-degree angle. The back foot, the back heel comes in slightly. So I'm facing the left side. My feet are both straight. Now I'm bending my right knee as I bring both arms to my side and bring my arms forward, and then I'm swimming as my front knee comes back and straightens. So arms to my side, bringing both palms forward, and then I'm swimming. Palms forward. And then from here, I'm going to take the right hand and bring it into a horizontal line. And I'm looking over at my middle finger. And then my palms come down. And then I'm looking over to my left middle finger. So I'm in Warrior Two. It's a yoga pose called Warrior Two. My knees are bent. See if you can just make sure the alignment is where your knees are lined up with your ankle. And then I'm going to reverse the warrior. And then from here, bring your forearms onto your thigh. Bring the right arm by your ear. And then open up the front of your chest. Reverse. This is side angle pose. And John's doing some modifications. Now then, let's bring your top arm back to your side, and let's come back into Warrior Two. And let's come back to center. We've got another side. So let's take the right leg to a 90-degree angle. Your back leg is strong, straight. And bring both arms to your side. Bend your knees as your palms come forward, like you're offering something to someone. And then we're swimming. Your knees straighten. Inhale. Let's bring our arms forward and to our side. Let's offer up. And this time, let's take that left arm and bring it across the horizon line. Your palms are up. Just follow your back arm. And then bring your palms down. Look over to your right. Middle finger. Or into Warrior Two. Check the alignment of your knees. Now let's reverse the warrior. So your right arm comes above you. And let's come back into side angle pose. So my forearm comes to my thigh as I bring my left arm, biceps by my ear, and then I open up my chest. Let's come back into Warrior Two. Come back to center. Hands to your heart. Okay, John, pass this on to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Meadow. Cheers off. Well, thanks for joining us again today. And that felt really good. There's some great movement for the hips and shoulders there. We'll continue with this emphasis of just flowing like water. And I invite you to back off if anything is feeling painful today. If there's any radiating, sharp, or tingling sensations, just back off and come back to a comfortable standing pose, or come back to the breath. Always returning to the breath. The breath guides the movements and guides the practice. So as we inhale, let's get that sense of connection with the breath and movement. This helps us avoid any catastrophic falls when we can connect with the breath and just find our moves connected to our breath pattern. Inhaling as we take the hands palm up to about the chest, exhaling palms face down. Is there perhaps an intention for today's practice? Or as you go about your daily activities, see if you can breathe in an intention. Our minds are designed for survival, for critical thinking. But it's our actions that drive us, that really matter. So perhaps that intention might be just reconnecting with the breath. It could be as simple as doing more good deeds than bad ones. Exhaling as we lengthen the exhale, palms face down towards the earth. Think about the eyes of the palms as being an energy gateway. Inhaling as we gather energy. Exhaling, releasing it down to the earth. Down through the eyes of the soles of the feet. Another important energy gateway connecting us to the earth and to all things around us. Inhaling, as we interlace the fingers now, they come under the chin and the elbows spread wide as we look up. Exhaling, forearms, elbows come together as we come into a slight squat here. Inhale, opening up the shoulder atlas, the cervical spine, the thoracic spine lengthens. Chin comes in towards chest, elbows come together. Inhaling a nourishing breath through the tip of the nose. Exhaling. On the next breath, as you open, see if you can add a twist. As we twist to the left, I'll mirror you. Coming back to center in the squat, elbows come together. Last one. Coming back to the center and hold perhaps. Release the hands as they come down through the midline, fingers point down. And slowly return to the sides of our body. As we interlace the fingers back behind us, we're going to begin to very slowly roll the neck. Chin comes towards shoulder, then ascends up to the heavens, all the way up perhaps to 12 o'clock, slowly round the face of a clock as we take the chin down through the midline. Very slowly as we connect back with the breath, inhaling as we come up from the shoulder up to the heavens, to the other shoulder, beginning the exhale as we descend the head. Should feel pretty good, huh? Very slowly, just noticing where things are happening. And in the opposite direction a few times as we come back to the midline, begin the movement very slowly in the opposite direction. There's no hurry. The slower we do these movements, the more we can connect. And we invite you to find this sense of ease within effort. Notice what's happening with the toes. Are the toes gripping? See if you can release the toe. Release unconscious stress in the shoulders, in the face, in the jaw. Last one. Wonderful. As we come back to center, we're going to take the back, I'll mirror you once again. We're going to take the back of the right hand, and we're going to walk it up the spine as far as possible. And we're going to take the opposite hand and see if we can have the fingers meet. Now, if they don't meet, that's fine too. You're just doing the best to walk your hands towards one another into what we call cow pose, Gomukhasana arms, cow pose arms. As we inhale, we lengthen and twist to the right. We'll mirror you. As we come back to center, slight squat here, bend the knees. And then as we twist to the other side, we're going to unfurl and draw the head back into the forearms and lengthen a slight back bend here. Then we're going to switch arms. So inhaling, the opposite hand now comes to the lower back and begins to walk up the spine. As you take the other hand and walk it down through the neck and thoracic spine as we begin to come back to center in a slight twist. Lengthen to the other side. Feel the side body lengthen. A slight back bend here. Moving gracefully. We'll stay on that side and interchange on the opposite side. Switching arms now. Just noticing one side may have a lot more range of motion. That is very normal. Just notice that where you are today as a foundation with that range of motion. Might just mean that that side staying with the hands as they are as we switch on the opposite side now. Find some length. Draw the head back into the arms. There's a tendency for the head to want to wander forward. See if you can maintain the head drawing back into the arm. Of course, you can use a belt here. We didn't give that instruction to draw or come with a belt today, but a belt is nice here or a strap. And then once more, interchanging the arms. And back to the other side. Unfurling the arms very slowly. As we take we'll mirror you, the left foot forward and the left arm sweeps forward. Palm up at the hip. Meadow's going to let somebody in. As we come into a front stance here, there's a slight bend in the front knee, strong straight back leg. We're about hip width, shoulder width apart. And we're taking the hand now from underneath the elbow and sweeping it forward as the opposite hand retreats to the hip. Now we're going to transition the weight into the back leg, and the hand comes underneath the elbow as it comes out, and we're following the middle finger. The opposite hand retreats to the hip, palm faces up, transitioning the weight into the front foot and front leg. Back leg straightens. Find a drishti right over the middle finger. Imagine that you're serving dinner. There's a slight bend in the front arm and a relaxed back arm, elbow faces back behind us, palm up at the hip. Transitioning the weight into the back body. Notice how the hand comes from underneath the elbow and comes forward as we glide into that front stance and glide into the back stance from underneath the elbow. Both hands at play, one drawing back to the hip, the other at about shoulder height. See if you can find a flow now, a wave through the body, transitioning the weight. Wonderful. Both hands come up in a clearing gesture as we take the feet back towards one another, palms face down. As we step forward with the other leg, the hand glides forward as the opposite hand retreats to the hip. Wonderful. We're transitioning the weight now into the back leg as the hand comes from underneath the elbow. We're looking at the middle finger, about shoulder height. Think of gliding that hand from underneath the elbow as it retreats to the hip and then glides along the horizon at about shoulder height. Or heart height. Think about nourishing the heart. It's interesting, out of all the professions on the planet, all the vocations, the jobs that we have, the longest, the greatest longevity of any of those is the conductor, the musical conductor, not the tram conductor, the musical conductor or the orchestra leader, because he's always moving his arms. And this connects deeply to the heart, the bronchia of the heart and arm connection. That average lifespan is about 94. So wonderful to keep moving the arms, and this really helps nourish the heart. See if you can find a rhythm in the body. From feet all the way through to the crown of the head. Both hands at play. Next time we come up, coming back together, heels together, feet apart as we slowly come back down through the midline. Very slowly. There's no hurry. We'll do something we did last week, and I'll just admit somebody in there. Excuse me.
No, that's fine.
Good now. As we come to a movement that we did last week, we'll mirror you the right foot forward, left foot back. And we come into that sense of back stance, forward stance. Back stance, forward stance. Great. So as we start this time, two firm fists, and the fist comes in front here, the fist that's going to travel to the back, which will be your left fist, then comes back and opens, both hands open. One comes down, straight, strong arm down alongside the thigh, about a fist off the thigh. The other hand here is above the forehead. As we transition into the front stance, we take the hand at about neck height, and this here is a block right above us. Inhaling back stance, exhaling front stance. Doing 5 on each side, 5 breaths. Inhaling, exhaling. Sense of strength and vitality. Again, some agility through the entire body. See if you can bring the hips in. The back hip comes forward. Let the back hip guide the movement. Wonderful. As we come up in a clearing gesture, both feet come together as the hands come slowly down through the midline. As we move to the other side, stepping the left foot forward, get that sense of transitioning the weight into the back leg, front leg. The right arm comes forward, 2 firm fists. We're looking right above 2 firm fists. Forearms come together. As we open the fists, the hand comes down, straight arm to the front leg, opposite arm at a slight bend. We should be able to look up and see the back of our hand. Transitioning now. So this arm is extended in front. The other arm, we should look up and see the back of our hand. It's like learning a new language. The neural pathways are firing. It's going, wow, it's a little bit different on this side. So well done for just staying with it and challenging yourself here. If anything, Qigong and yoga is fantastic for coordination. These new movements come out of the busy mind and into the body. Begin to think from the feet up rather than the busy mind down. Wonderful. Both arms come up in a clearing gesture. Feet together, toes apart. As we slowly come back down. Let's just do a couple of hip circles here to release any tension in the lower back and hips. We come into a balance movement as we take the hands to the iliac crest, and just do your best today. So you may keep the foot on the earth today, the heel off the earth. That's a fine pose. But otherwise, see if you can inhale and raise the leg, and then we're going to exhale out through the heel, and we bend the leg and then extend out through the toes, and then begin to circle. We're going to do this 7 times in one direction. 4, 5, 6, 7, the opposite direction. Find a drishti, perhaps this point of focus 6 feet, 8 feet, it could even be the horizon line. See if you can find that mysterious focus. Then the leg comes back, or the foot to knee. As we externally rotate that leg, we extend out through the heel, then out through the toes and begin to rotate. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the opposite direction. We take the knee back, slowly lowering it down. Inhaling, opposite leg raises. Exhaling out through the heel, out through the toes. Find that point of focus. Again, lower the foot to the earth and just rotate the foot around on the earth. If that is all that you can do today, that's fine. Just know where you are today as a foundation in the opposite direction. And then we take the leg back, externally rotate, exhale out through the heel, out through the toes, begin to rotate ich, ni, san, shi, go, roko, suchi, hachi. In the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well done. A couple of hip turns just to release any tension in the hips. And then in the opposite direction a few times. Include the entire body. Hips, upper back. Wonderful. As we come back to hip width, shoulder width apart, one arm comes up about shoulder height, bending at the elbow, weight transitions to the leading arm. Imagine the face of a clock, 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock being at about shoulder height. As we come up through the face of a clock to 4 o'clock, up to 10 o'clock, to 2 o'clock, 11 o'clock, all the way up perhaps, and slowly back down through the face of the clock. Find a movement all the way from the feet through the hips as we glide from left to right, traveling east. And slowly come back down. We'll just finish with a way in which we can smooth the chi in our body. So I invite you to take the left arm up to shoulder height. Thumb comes to middle finger. Opposite hand comes down through the midline. Palm faces down, releasing trapped and stagnant energy. Hand comes shoulder height, thumb to middle finger. The opposite hand descends down through the midline. Transition the weight to the leading hand as it releases trapped and stagnant energy. If you get lost, just perhaps go back to using one arm until you get the movement. Otherwise, keeping that one arm up at shoulder height, thumb to middle finger, before the opposite hand descends down through the midline. And the hand is about, a couple of inches away from the torso as it descends. As we smooth the chi around us. And we smooth the energy within us. Exhaling as we extend. Wonderful. Both hands come up in a clearing gesture, down through the midline. Let's try that one more time. Taking the arms up nice and wide. As now the hands come up, point the fingers back behind us. And then as the hands come to about eye height, the fingers face forward, we raise the heels. Exhaling, hands descend very slowly with the heels returning to earth. We take one hand on top of the other and we draw in and seal in that sense of calm, sense of strength. Come back to your intention for a moment, closing the eyes, thanking yourself for taking this journey to really nourish the mind and body, and all those that support our practice. Thanks very much. Namaste. Thank you, Meadow.
Thank you. Thank you.